When you're sitting in a tree stand early in the morning, you're sitting there by yourself in dead black. And then you'll hear each and everything as it wakes up. Hunting here, I spend as much time as I can. I retired in February of 2017 at the age of 43. I know it's early, but now it gets me from there and allows me to move on. The first job I can think of that I wanted to be was a pilot. I wanted to be a pilot from when I was a little kid up until probably high school. I didn't end up joining the Air Force. I was supposed to go with a friend, and he didn't get accepted, so I didn't join either. I was able to pay for my first 2 years at Cumberland County College, but I didn't have enough to pay for rowing, so I had to work my way through it. I would get up as early as possible and go to school, and then I would work late at night. I was going to school full-time. I had a full-time job, and I also had a part-time job. So I had pretty much no days off whatsoever. There were days that I just truly don't even remember getting all the way home, and I'm there, but I don't remember part of the drive, just because you are moving around so much, going here and there, that everything just kind of becomes a blur. And I don't remember when I slept. I would just work and school, work and school. About a year after I graduated, I got married, and at that point, the money at Cumberland Manor was no longer enough. And corrections officers, I looked up the salary, they made more than people who worked for PSE&G. So I immediately put in for that. And I had my bachelor's degree in law and administration of justice, so I figured that would help me out in the process. Once I was in corrections, which I did for close to 4 years, I decided that I wanted to take another step forward, and I went to apply to be a state investigator. There was the application process, there was the interview process, there was testing, there was more interviewing, there was a lot going on. They would check all of your records, make sure everything was completely good in your past, because they don't want any surprises. Once you go through all that, then I was hired with 6 other people, and that was it. So statewide, they hired 7 people. Our function was we would investigate any and all criminal activity that happened by any state inmates or to any state inmates, or happened on any state property. And then we also were in charge of drug interdiction, gang intelligence, and also fugitives. There were a lot of days that I really did not like the job. And you make your way through it. It helps to have a switch that when you come home, you turn the switch off. And I know the problems that anybody in the law enforcement field has at home. The divorce rate with law enforcement is extremely high. There's a lot of problems within law enforcement with home life, because people can't make that separation. It's very, very difficult. I didn't want to affect them in a negative way just because I had to see negative things. There were days that I would say that I'd rather be doing something else, and then there are other days that I said, nope, I love what I do. And you would flip back and forth, and it depended on how heavily something wore on your mind. Every time you went and dealt with something terrible, it didn't affect you, but every once in a while it would just hit you just right, and you have to take a step back and take a breath and then kind of work your way back to it. Every 4 weeks you're on call for 1 week, so you'd be off 3, on call for 1 week. And any and all emergencies you have to respond to. I've had to leave Christmas morning, I've had to leave, Easter Sunday. I've had to leave, Thanksgiving that I cooked but couldn't eat because I got called in. January 1st, when everybody else is saying Happy New Year, sometimes I was at work, taking pictures of blood spatter. I wanted to be out of the field because I didn't want to become one of the statistics. There are so many people that die right after they retire because they wait too long. And I didn't want to be one of those. I wanted to be able to come home and enjoy my life with my family. My prior years, when I worked for Cumberland County, was in the public employees pension. That when I worked there, I paid into the public employees pension, and that time transferred over. So total between the years I spent there and the 21 years in law enforcement, I had 25 years of service. So that allowed me to retire with my full 25 years. You have to plan for it because a pension is not a paycheck. You get your pension once a month, and it is a paycheck, but it's not a paycheck that like you're going to get from work. There's no opportunity for overtime. You don't make as much, but you have to weigh that against your free time versus still working. You have to weigh that against your costs, your vehicle costs, your gas. If you've put money away and you have a pension and you do proper planning, it's definitely possible. My kids, they get to see me more, and they know that I'll be available for them when they need something. I'm able to be part of all the things that I was missing before.